this is Jamie from Creations Misfit, and today I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy coffee cup cozy. It's just a coffee sleeve, and this is my own pattern. I called it the Hey Joe coffee cozy, and so let's go ahead and get started. You'll need two different colors of yarn. Unless you want to do everything in the same color, that's fine. I do all of mine in two different colors. And you will need a 4mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle for sewing in your ends. Okay, so go ahead and grab the color that you want to start with and your yarn needle. Sometimes I start with a 3.5mm hook instead, just for the very first row, because my chains tend to be a little bit looser, but I'm going to just do the tutorial with the 4mm the entire time. But if you chain kind of loosely, you might want to start with a 3.5mm hook and then switch over to your 4. So we're going to start with a chain of 35. So go ahead and get your slip knot, and then you're just going to chain up 35, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I do a weird thumb thing, so if it looks like I'm doing something strange, I am. I always, I don't know, put my thumb over the yarn, but I'm just doing chains like regular. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, grab my yarn, 32, 33, 34, and 35. I hope that was right. Hold on, I'm going to count really quick. Okay, I was right. I started talking and then I lost count. So from here, we're going to slip stitch to the very first chain that we did. So you want to make sure that your chain is, I hope you can see this with this background, you're going to make sure that your chain is all facing up. So just kind of run your fingers across, make sure your chain is all facing the same way. You don't want to get it twisted. And then just go into that very first chain, and we're going to do a slip stitch. And now you can do it, oops, I got stuck. You can do it a number of ways. You could just go into the top chain if you like. That's usually what I do. And then form a slip stitch. Okay, and then moving on to the first round, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip the stitch that we just slip stitched into. So we did 35 chains, and we're going to start with a single crochet, and we're going to single crochet all the way around, and we should end up with 34 single crochets then, because we're not going into that very first one. Okay, so you're just going to single crochet into the next, 2, 3, whoops, 4, 5, and you're just going to go all the way around. So I'll do mine, you do yours, you can pause the video if you'd like, and then we will meet back up. You should end up with 34 single crochets. Okay, so I finished up my 34 single crochets all the way around, and just once again make sure that everything is going the same way so that your project isn't twisted. And we're going to slip stitch into that very first stitch that we made, the very first single crochet, but don't finish your slip stitch yet because you're going to pull through your second color of yarn. So grab your second color and finish the slip stitch with that second color. And then you will chain 2. Now for this, I just made it really easy. You don't even have to let go of that gray or cut it off and weave in or anything. We're just going to carry, or not even carry our yarn, I'm sorry. We're just going to leave this and we'll pick it back up the next round when we come around. So you don't want to put the gray in the back while you're going around. You know, sometimes you can carry your yarn. Just leave it and we'll get back to it. And because it's on the inside of the cup, it just kind of moves up, and I'll show you as we go, but you won't even be able to tell. So for this round, we're going to do puff stitches. If you're unfamiliar, I will put a link in the description box for how to do a puff stitch. And if you've never done these before, they can be a little bit frustrating at first, but just stick with it. The main thing to do is just keep them loose so that you can get through all of them. But for a puff stitch, everybody does theirs a little bit different. For mine, we're going to do it 4 times. So what you do is you yarn over, and we're going to go into this same stitch now because we want 34 stitches at each time. So we're going to go into that same stitch and then yarn over and pull up a loop, and pull up kind of high because we're going to have to go through all of these. Okay, so we did that once, and we're going to yarn over again, go through, pull up a loop, that's 2. We're going to do it again, yarn over, go through, pull up a loop, that's 3 times, and one last time, yarn over, go back into that same stitch, pull up a loop, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all of the loops on your hook, and then chain 1. And like I said, if you're unfamiliar with puff stitches, it can take just a couple minutes to get used to, but just do it really loosely and it will be simple. I made a puff stitch hat when I first learned how to do them, and it took me so long because I was doing it way too tight. So we chained 1, and then we're going to skip a stitch, and we're going to go into the next one. So I'm skipping, if you can see here, skipping this one here, and we're going to go into the next. So we're going to do another puff stitch, yarn over, go into that stitch here, yarn over and pull up a loop. That's 1. Yarn over, go into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. That's twice. Yarn over, go into the same stitch again, yarn over and pull up a loop. That's 3 times. Yarn over, same stitch again, yarn over, pull up a loop. We did it 4 times. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. It should be that simple. And chain 1. And that's what we're going to do for this entire row. You're going to do a puff stitch, chain 1, skip 1. So we're going to skip this next stitch and go into the next. I'll do 2 more with you, and then we can part ways and do our own and come back together. So we're going to skip this next stitch, and we're going to do a puff stitch into the next one. So yarn over, go into your stitch, pull up a loop, do it again. That's 2, 3 times, and 4 times. Yarn over and pull through all the stitches, or all the loops on your hook, chain 1, skip 1, and then we'll do 1 more together. Yarn over, we're skipping this one, this stitch here, go into the next, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and the 4th time, yarn over, pull up a loop, and go through all the loops on your hook. Chain 1 and skip 1. So go ahead and finish up this round. You should have 17 puff stitches and 17 skipped stitches when you're done. So you will end with a skipped stitch. Okay, so go ahead and finish up this round, and then I will meet you back. Alright, so I went around and did all of my puff stitches, and I am on my last one here. I end with a puff stitch, chain 1, and then we have 1 stitch left we're going to skip. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of the very first puff stitch. Okay, so go ahead and slip stitch, and you're going to pull your first color yarn back through. It's already there waiting for you, and then we'll just leave the second color behind. Okay, so we slip stitch into the first puff stitch, chain 1, and now we're going to start the Houndstooth pattern, which is really, really simple. You're just going to start with a single crochet, and we're going to do that into the very same stitch that we just did our slip stitch. So you do 1 single crochet, and then into this chain 2 space, you don't have to go into the actual chain, just go where the space is. You're going to do a double crochet. I did forget to mention too what size yarn. I'll put like some text in the beginning for it, but just a regular size 4 yarn, worsted weight. I'm using I Love This yarn. from Hobby Lobby. Okay, and then next you're just going to do a single crochet into the top of the next puff stitch. So single crochet, and then into the space you're going to do a double crochet. If you're not familiar with double crochet or single, you probably wouldn't be on this pattern anyways, but I will put those links in my description box as well. For a double crochet, you just yarn over, go through, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the final 2. So that's the pattern for this round. You're just going to do a single crochet into the top of the puff stitch, and then a double crochet into the chain space. Single on top of the puff, double in the chain space. Again, I do this weird thumb thing, but I'm just doing regular single and double crochets. I think it was my mom that looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" She goes, "It looks like you're doing an extra step." I'm like, I probably am, but I crochet way faster like this, and I don't even know how I got started doing that, but I have tried the other way, and it just slows me down. So I'm going to keep doing the thumb thing. I'll just finish out this round with you. So that's the, this is how the Houndstooth is, which when I first saw Houndstooth, it looked so, the pattern looked so difficult just looking at the piece that was made, and I thought I'll never be able to do that, and then I learned it was literally a single crochet and a double crochet. So simple. Alright, so we're coming around. When you get to the end, there's always going to be 34 stitches throughout this entire pattern, other than when we first started with the chains, that was 35, but as far as stitches, it's going to be 34 each time, which is pretty important to make sure that it's uniform throughout. Alright, so when you get to the last ones, you're going to do your single crochet, and then you're going to double crochet into that last space there. You should end with a double crochet. Alright, and then we're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet. Make sure that you're getting into the very first one, not the chain and not the double crochet, but the very first single crochet, and then pull your new color through. Right, so we are on round 4, and we're going to chain 2. Now for the Houndstooth, you basically just do the same thing, but this time we're going to start with a double crochet instead of the single. So you're double crocheting on top of the single crochets from the last round, and you're single crocheting on top of the doubles. So for the very first one, we want to make sure that, sorry, there's a big truck outside if you can hear that. For the very first one, you want to go into the same stitch where you just did your 2 chains, because the 2 chains don't count as a stitch. So we're going to start with a double crochet this time. So always think about your second color is going to start with a double crochet. So start with a double, and then on top of this last double from the round before, you're going to do a single. And then it's the same thing around. It looks like a chain space almost, where we're going to put the doubles. But it's actually the single crochet from the round before. So double, single, double, single, double, single, and that's how you're going to do this entire round 4. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet up with you at the end. Alright, I'm back at the beginning. Now I just did a double crochet, and I have to finish with a single, because we started with the double, so you finish with the single. And then we're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet, not the chain 2 space right there. Slip stitch in the first double crochet and pull through your first color. Now for the next few rows, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let me see. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're going to repeat this pattern. So when I'm in the gray, your first color, you're going to chain 1, and you're going to start with a single crochet in that same space. Single, and then double, single, double, all the way around. And when you start with the other color, your second color, you're going to start with a chain 2, and then you're going to start with a double crochet and do double, single, double, single. So we're going to do that for rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9 actually. Let me see. Yeah, sorry about that. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you'll end with your first color. Now, if you want it a little bit shorter, that's fine. You can just do repeats for rounds 5, 6, and 7 and not do 8 and 9. But I like mine a little bit longer. On the cup, this one will be about that big. If you do it a little bit shorter, it will just be a smaller sleeve. So it's up to you. But I'm going to finish up my round 5. And then I'm going to do 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then I will meet you back. So do as many as you'd like, but you want to end up with your first color. Okay, so do that, and then we will meet back around. I just wanted to show you that at the end of round 5, just a reminder, you're going to end with a double crochet and slip stitch into the very first single. And then pull through your new yarn, chain 2. To start the next. So for round 6, sorry, I'm trying to pull my yarn. For round 6, you'll start with your double in the same stitch and then go to single. Okay, I'll come back around at the end of each round just to make sure you're on track. So this is round 6, and I will see you at 7. Okay, ending round 6 with a single crochet, slip stitch into the top of the double, pull through your new yarn with your new yarn, and chain 1. So this is the start of round 7. If you want your cup cozy to be a little bit shorter, you can leave it here and move on to, I think it would be, let's see, oh, move on to round 9. So you can skip these next 2 if you want, but I don't know, I would suggest doing 7, 8, and 9. So here we go with 7, start with the single, and then move on to your double. And I will meet you back. Finishing up round 7 with a double crochet, slip stitch into the first single, and pull through the new color. These work up so quickly. Okay, and then you're going to chain 2, start with your double. These work up so quickly, and they make nice gifts. I just had a couple orders. Somebody ordered 12 of them for a company. I guess they were having like some kind of company meeting, and they wanted to give little gifts to each person coming in for the meeting. So she ordered 12 in the company colors, like blue and gold. And I had a friend reach out to me about possibly making these for some friends of hers for Christmas. Somebody else reached out about doing school colors. She wanted to give her friends a couple of, you know, just gifts. She's in college, but she couldn't afford a lot. So I made a bunch of these for her to give to her friends in their college colors. So it's something that takes less than 30 minutes, and you know, they're really nice actually for hot and cold drinks, because it keeps your hand either cool from the hot or you know, dry from the condensation or anything like that if you have a cold drink. So there's a lot of people that really do appreciate having these. I gave a bunch out when I first made them. When I was writing the pattern, I had a ton of them. I gave them to my sister and her friends, and they used them. So if you are on a budget, and it doesn't take much yarn, it only takes about 50 total yards or less, so you can use your scraps. That's what I did. I used a ton of scraps to make a whole bunch of them when I first started. So it makes a nice, quick, easy gift. Oops, that's the last one. Okay, last one is a single crochet. Go to the top. Okay, that was round 8. So we are on the last round of Houndstooth, and you can see how it's how the Houndstooth pattern is coming out now too. I don't know, it just always looked so much more difficult to me than it was. I couldn't believe it was just a single and a double crochet. So on our last round, we're going to do round 9. It's the same thing. We're just finishing up, starting with a single crochet, move on to the double, I will try to go quickly here and just do it with you. And then we just have 2 more rounds after this, and we are finished. So like I said, very quick and easy. I just want to say thank you for watching if you made it this far. And if you do make these, please let me know in the comments below how you liked it, and maybe what colors you're using. I always like to get inspiration, and who you're giving it to, or if you're using it for yourself. I love to communicate with people that are watching my videos, and I'm trying to grow my channel, so it's helpful to hear what you guys think as well about the patterns or stitch videos or whatever that I'm doing. I'm going to do a yarn giveaway soon. I don't know when. It will be before Christmas, but I'm going to do a big box of yarn to give away and just say thank you for anybody that's been subscribing and watching my videos and leaving comments and actually getting something out of what I'm doing here, which is my sole purpose. I learned basically 2 years ago watching YouTube videos, so I'm happy to be giving back and helping other people, you know, just learn some different things on here. So if you like my content, if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. If you like the video, that would be wonderful. Please leave a comment and let me know how this worked out for you. I would love to hear it. I'm also on Instagram at Creations Misfit, and if you'd like to tag me in your finished product, I would love to see it too. Okay, so we ended with a double crochet. We're going to slip stitch into the first single and pull through our other yarn, and then we're going to chain 2. Now this is just going to be a repeat of round 2 where we did the puff stitches. So if you remember, we're going to yarn over, go through. We're going to do that 4 times. 3. Sometimes this first one's a little bit hard to get through. 4, chain 1, and skip 1. Skip the next stitch. And then we're going to puff stitch into the next. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1, skip 1. Puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull through. Chain 1. Don't ever forget your chain 1s because that's what closes the puff stitch. I had to learn that the hard way. And then skip 1. So keep going with your puff stitches. Again, you should have 17 puff stitches and 17 skipped stitches to make 34 all the way around. And I will meet you back at the beginning, and then we just have 1 more round to go. Okay, so I did my last puff stitch and I chained 1, and we're going to skip that last. You can kind of pull that last stitch, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of the puff stitch and pull through your yarn. And this is going to be our last round. You can kind of pull that yarn below or behind. You can leave this here for now, the green one or your second color. We'll cut it off at the end, but you're done with that one for now. So go ahead and chain 1, and then this last round is really simple. You're just going to single crochet all the way around. So single crochet into the top of that puff stitch that we just slip stitched into, and then into the next, which is your chain or your skipped stitch, your chain 1. Whoops. Top of the puff stitch, and then into the chain 1. So just go around. This keeps going off my thing. You can now I lost my train of thought. Just go ahead and single crochet all the way around, and you'll have 34 stitches. I'll just do it really quick. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm right in front of my window, and there are people outside moving, and there's like a huge moving truck, and I just lost my train of thought because this guy just kind of fell out of the driver's side of this big truck. I mean, he's alright, but it was just funny to look up and see it really quick. Oh. Alright. So keep going around. keep pulling my yarn. It's just sitting on the floor. Whoops. Okay, almost done here. Alright, so when you get to the end, you'll go through that last puff stitch, and then you'll go through the last chain as well, because that was your chain 1. And then slip stitch to the very first, and then you can cut both of your yarns. Just leave a little tail so you can sew them in. And I always chain and pull that through to make it tight. So there you have it. There's your Hey Joe Cup Cozy. I'll show you before I have to tie in all my ends, but I don't have to do that on camera. So it will fit. It fits a lot of different things because it's stretchy, but that's how it will look once it's fitted. And you've completed your project. So thank you so much for sticking with me, and please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear, like I said, what colors you used or who you're making it for and how you liked the tutorial. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'd be very grateful. I'm going to be having a lot more videos coming out. If there's something specific you'd like to see, please let me know as well, and I will try to do that. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.